Hello there. This is an episode from the Visual Mind podcast. There are no visuals in this video, it's just audio. If you want to listen to the Visual Mind podcast on Spotify or Google or Apple Podcasts, you can find it there as well and listen to it on the go. But I decided to upload all of the episodes here on YouTube as well, just to reach a little bit more people. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hey there, and welcome back to the Visual Mind podcast, where we talk about all things business and mindset for artists. This is the first episode in 2021, and I've been taking a little break on the podcast, and I will probably not go back to a weekly upload schedule, but I will just upload the episodes whenever I have something that I really want to talk about, because the podcast is not my main priority at the moment. But I have a very important topic today, and I really wanted to talk about mindset in general, mindset for artists, especially when you're creating something, and why your mindset is probably holding you back. And just know that I can relate to all of these things, and I really know how that feels. And this is why it's so important to me to talk about these things. And I actually created a mindset course especially for artists. It's called How to Live a Creative Life and Let Nothing Stop You. And it's made so that people can watch it while creating and get all kinds of help. So make sure to check that out. And I will tell you why I think that it is so important to really focus on your mindset and work on yourself and invest in yourself. And yeah. A few years ago, I thought that there was something wrong with me because I always started something. I always started a creative project or became obsessed with a new hobby. And then I really got super obsessed and really wanted to do it. I wanted it to turn into a job and I wanted to do it all the time. And I really loved it. And 3 months later or a few weeks later, I suddenly lost interest, and that happened to me over and over and over again. And I thought that there was something wrong with me. I thought that I was the only one who was experiencing that. But now that I've talked publicly about this, so many people have been reaching out to me and telling me that they feel exactly the same way. And it's not something that I didn't already know. I know by now that this is normal, and I also know why that happens. And I just wish that I had known all of this sooner, but I mean, you can't go back. I'm just so happy to share everything that I've learned along the way. And I'm so glad that I learned this, because that was my biggest struggle that I had, that I just couldn't stay consistent with something. And I just wanted to have my thing, the one thing that I'm doing. And I saw other people who kept going with something, and I was so jealous of them. I thought that it would be so easy for them. They just had found their perfect one passion and then they could stay with it. But all of that was a kind of a thinking error. I thought that you would have to find one thing that you would love, and then it would be effortlessly. Yeah, sometimes you would have to learn something, of course, but I didn't really accept the fact that it would become uncomfortable after a while. And let me tell you, every single thing in this world, even if you find your perfect passion, it really doesn't matter. Every single thing out there will become uncomfortable at one point, and it will become boring at one point. And that's completely normal, because that's how our brains work. At first, you're kind of in this honeymoon phase where you're still in the right mindset. You're in a growth mindset. You accept that you haven't learned anything about this topic yet. And so you are not expecting yourself to be great at it. And then you learn a lot. This is like the first learning curve. It's so quick, and you learn so much in such a short amount of time, and that feels great because we feel like we're making progress. We're not expecting yet that we're good. We're in a really good mindset at that point. And then after a while, it might be a week, a few weeks, a few months, or even a year. After a while, we leave this honeymoon phase and we start to plateau. And then we don't learn a lot anymore because we've learned the basics at that point. And then we start to have expectations on ourselves. We start to think, I have to be better at this by now because I've been doing this for X amount of time and I should actually know how everything goes. Then you start comparing yourself to others, seeing that they're flawless and comparing their perfect end result to your very flawed midway stages. And that really doesn't help, and your mindset really changes in that time, and that might be so sneaky and underlying that you don't even realize that, because I would have realized that if it was like that, if I really could have noticed that I did that. But it really comes slowly and super sneakily, and suddenly you find the task at hand boring. Suddenly it's not interesting anymore, and you're questioning, why do I suddenly not feel interested anymore? And you don't even realize that it's self-doubt and a lot of mindset struggles coming up. You believe that it suddenly got boring, and that's kind of, I believe that that's a coping mechanism of the brain, kind of wants to protect you from feeling shame, because if you were to continue on that task, you would maybe find out that you're not good enough at it, that even after so much practice, you're still not good enough at it. And I mean, that means that our brain works. I mean, it wants to protect us. It does its job to protect us from shame. And so it makes our lives a lot easier by switching to the next topic and really avoiding this struggle that you could have had when you stay in there and find out, hey, I'm actually not good enough at this. But that's the mistake, that you're thinking that if you can't learn it at a certain point and that you're not at a certain skill level, that means that you as a person aren't good enough. And we know that intellectually, that we should separate those things, that our self-worth should not be tied to our achievements. Yeah, we know that intellectually, but actually really fully understanding that is a different topic. And that's why I really want to talk about these things again and again, and really want to get it into your brain if you are here to listen. And all of these things are so important because you can really change all of these things. And I've learned so much in the last few years that I didn't think were possible to learn. And so I really want to put all of these things into courses because I love to share things for free. Obviously, I really love to give you all of the value on the podcast. But you just, when you listen to a podcast, I know this from myself, and I know that all people in this world do this. When you listen to a podcast like this, you feel good in the moment. It motivates you. It's this fluffy, fun feeling, and then you stop listening, and in the end, you haven't really learned that much because you weren't even that invested in it. But when you invest in a course or in a program or anything, you don't even have to invest in my courses, just invest in anything at all, and buy an amount of money that feels uncomfortable to you, spend an amount of money that feels uncomfortable, then you're really in it for real. Then you really want to learn it. Then you really want to do the exercises. And I'm in a group coaching program which costs way more every month that I feel comfortable with. It makes me feel so uncomfortable, but it really helps me a lot because that really is the kick that I need to actually do the exercise and actually do something. And I'm absolutely sure if I wouldn't have spent the money or wouldn't continually have to spend it, then I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do the exercises. And that's the reason why I really wanna do the courses and really learn how to sell these courses to you. Even though I still feel kind of salesy when I talk about them, I still have to learn how to sell all of these. And make that happen, and I'll take you all on the journey with me. I'm still not perfect. I'm not pretending to be. I might just be 2 steps ahead of some of you, and I might know some things that you don't already know, because there are so many things that I wish I'd known 3 or 5 years ago. And so I'm really trying to teach people who are at that point that I was at, and really trying to learn from people who are, again, 2 steps ahead of me. And so we can all learn so much from each other. So I really want to be here for you and help you start to believe in yourself, actually. And you don't even have to believe in yourself. You just have to accept the possibility that you could believe in yourself, and just make your and just show yourself that you are worthy of investing time and also money in yourself, and just be willing to work on yourself, because you can really learn so much. I mean, you might just be asking yourself now, why would I actually want to stick with a topic if it feels uncomfortable? And the answer is that in this exact moment, when it feels the most uncomfortable, or when it's so boring, that's the moment when you learn the most. And it won't stay like that. I often have that with my art. I really don't feel like that, like it. I really don't feel motivated at all. I don't feel inspired at all. I feel bored and don't want to create. I have that so often. It really doesn't come effortlessly for me. I don't know if you think that it would, if maybe from the outside it looks like I always enjoy painting and it's always fun and easy breezy, but it's not. I very often have to force myself to get going, and yeah, I learn so much in those times. And very often when I start and then I'm actually doing it, then I start to enjoy it and actually have fun with it. And other times, I don't enjoy any of it. There have been videos of mine where I didn't enjoy the painting. I didn't enjoy the process. I just had to get through it because I had to upload another video. But then suddenly, for the next video, I feel super inspired again. It feels amazing. I love to do it. I love to be there. I love every second of it. So all of these things are normal, and you have to get through it, because I wouldn't have those amazing times if I wouldn't persist through the harder times. And if you are in a fixed mindset, you might not want to hear that. You want to hear, hey, give me a solution on how to feel motivated and inspired 24/7, because you just want to feel happy and you don't see the value in persisting and in being uncomfortable. And I can relate to that a lot. And I've done a lot of mindset work trying to get into a growth mindset where you actually enjoy learning and improving, and where you see that the reason why you're doing all of those things is because you want to improve and become better at it. And so once you get into that mindset, it's so much easier to persist through the times that are uncomfortable. And it actually becomes kind of exciting to persist through these times, because you know that you're currently learning so much and you're improving more and becoming better. I mean, you're staying consistent with something. I've been creating art for 3 years now, and I've improved so much. And when I look at my old sketchbooks and flip through them and compare them to the ones that I have now, there's so much improvement that you can see there. And I wouldn't have had that if I wouldn't have persisted with it, because obviously you just learn while you're doing it, and you can become so much better at literally anything if you put the time and the effort into it. And we all understand that intellectually, but really fully understanding that is a different topic. Because if you really completely understand that you can learn anything, then it is exciting for you to fail at something. Because then you see, oh my gosh, that didn't work. I wonder what would work. And then you have this kind of mindset where you're always looking for the solutions and always kind of being constructive. And there's kind of, it's a scale. You can't be fully in the growth mindset or fully in the fixed mindset. That's not how it works. But you can go from totally fixed to a little bit less fixed and then a little bit better. So you really have to get into a growth mindset about getting into a growth mindset. And I was always wondering, how does that even work? But it really does. With repetition, you just have to tell yourself again and again, hey, I'm learning this. It's okay. And it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay if it feels like shit. It's really not a big deal. Sometimes it just is like that. Sometimes creating is hard. Sometimes you really have to stick with it. And I always preach that art should be about having fun and that that's what it's about, because why else would you do it if it's not fun? And I do stand with that. I don't want to put so much pressure on myself that it's not fun anymore. I really want to stop my brain when it starts comparing me to others and things like that. I really want to focus on the fun and ask myself the question, how could I make this more fun? What could I include, or what am I currently inspired by that would make this more fun? And I try to focus on the fun as much as I can. But that doesn't mean that it is always fun. You just have to accept that it's not going to be fun all the time. And just because overall I really enjoy art, I really love it, that doesn't mean that I enjoy every single second of it. I mean, if you're doing sports, sometimes it feels uncomfortable and sometimes it feels like fun. Let's think you're going on a bike ride and you're going up a hill at first, and that feels so uncomfortable and you don't have a lot of fun doing that. But then you did it and you're up on that hill and you're so proud of yourself because you did that. And then you get to go down again and it's super easy breezy fun times. So was it not worth it to go up there just because it was super uncomfortable? Or was it actually the fact that it was uncomfortable at first that made it fun and valuable, because you grew a lot, because you put a lot of effort into it, and now you're proud of yourself because you did it? And I love that analogy because I actually hate going on bike rides. I hate everything that includes bikes, but I don't know. I think the analogy is fitting. You just have to learn this kind of persistence to actually stay with something. I think that that's something you can learn. And I wish that I had known this sooner and known that everything's okay and my brain is just working. It's just doing its job. It's just doing what it has learned to do. It's nothing is wrong with you if you feel like that. Absolutely not, especially if you lose your passion over and over again, or if you feel like others have more fun creating. That was something that I also had. I looked at the time I was doing photography, and I looked at other photographers, and it looked like they had so much passion in it. It was so much fun for them. They always enjoyed it. That was what it had looked like from the outside for me when I looked at their art. And I always thought that something was wrong with me, or that it wasn't the right thing for me because I didn't feel like that. And in the end, yes, photography was not the thing that I really wanted to do, because I ended up drawing and painting again after that. But even if that wasn't the case, it honestly doesn't matter which topic you pick or which area. It really doesn't matter, because you will always feel like that. You will always feel that you are not passionate enough and that it's not fun enough, because we have this expectation that art is always supposed to feel easy breezy, fun, easy going, always never having any struggles because you're just painting. I mean, it should be fun, right? No, nothing in this world works like that. Nothing feels fun all the time, and it's hard to accept that because it doesn't sound like fun. But once you do accept that, it actually becomes so much easier, because then you can accept the struggles and not add so much additional drama. I had so much drama. I didn't feel like I enjoyed what I was doing, and then I put so much drama on it. I was like, why am I not enjoying this? Why don't I feel motivated? Why don't I feel inspired? But once I accepted that sometimes you just don't feel motivated, and that's okay, I let go of this additional drama. And it still feels uncomfortable when you're in the dip, when you're going through these stages where you're growing so much, but you can't actually see it yet, and it feels uncomfortable. You will go through this, and it will feel uncomfortable, but it is okay. It's not a big deal. It happens to everyone with every single topic out there. I can't imagine that there's anything worthwhile pursuing that doesn't include this dip. And yeah, this is the reason why I'm doing so much mindset stuff. That's actually the reason why I called my channel Visual Mind, because I wanted to combine the visual aspects, the art, with the mindset stuff. And now I'm actually coming forth with this and actually doing this and sharing all of these things with you that I've learned. And I'm currently learning so much, and I can see that I've improved a lot. And if you really want to invest in yourself and learn all of these things, I have that mindset course, How to Live a Creative Life and Let Nothing Stop You. And I really tackle every single thing that might stop you from creating art. I ask people what is stopping them. No matter if it's a lack of time, a lack of materials, or if you feel like your art isn't good enough, I tackle every single thing in the course. It just takes 1 hour approximately, and you can watch it while creating. I actually made the course with the intention that you could watch it while you are creating. It's just slides, and I talk about everything. And then afterwards, you can do a workbook, and I also include a prompt list with ideas to really get you going. If you're really stuck in a rut or just need a little bit of help to actually stick with it, it really doesn't matter if you are right now super motivated or if the opposite is the case. This course can help you to stay in the right mindset, and I actually recommend listening to it more than once, because with repetition we learn so much more. And I will link the Creative Life course in the show notes so you can check it out. You can also find it on my website, visualmindart.com. Just head to the shop and there you can find it. I really hope that I could help you with something today. If you have any questions about these topics, feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram handle is @visualmindart, and I try to respond to as many DMs as I can. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions or if you have any ideas, something that you would want me to talk about in another podcast episode. I hope you're having a nice day. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.